Tragedy. I'm going to Google that.
Tragedy.
Listen here. English is a difficult language, okay? And even you guys don't understand your own language. Is it potato or potato, huh? So, tragedy. Oh, fuck. Tragedy of Prince Rupert reminds me of an old German fairy tale called Der Lügenbaron von Münchhausen, in which the lying lord of Münchhausen claims some ridiculous stuff like riding on a cannonball. Yep, you heard correctly, he claimed to have jumped on a cannon and shot himself on a cannonball. The feeling of riding a cannonball is the same feeling I get when I'm playing this game, weirdly enough. But wait a minute, relax, sit back, get something to drink, and let's talk about the most essential part of a video game, the main menu. I know not everyone thinks like me about that, but if you think about it, the main menu is pretty much like your face. It's the first thing the player is going to see, and if the main menu looks bad, is missing features and way too complicated, players are already going into your game with a bad impression. In the case of Prince Rupert, everything looks great. From afar. We have the standard play, settings, quit, and in addition a mysterious perk options, chronicles, and the leaderboard. The settings options are almost complete, but it could be better. For example, you can toggle between full screen and window mode, but resizing works only by dragging the game's borders. Not the best way to resize the game, to be honest, but I'm happier with the resizing option in general, because a lot of indie games just forget to add that. There's a volume options here, but only for the master volume. You have a frame limit options, but I have no idea what it does. Not the game's fault though, I think that's on me, I have no clue what it does. There are also some cosmetics options here, and of course, the language options, which always default to German for me, somehow. Listen here game, if you give me an option you better remember my settings, and stop resetting it. You can clearly remember the volume, my crosshair, and the color. Don't be a dick. I'm German, I know, but I like my games in English, because German is a horrible language for video games, okay? Not my fault. It's just bad language for video games. Anyways, the important thing here is the reset button. I mean, delete all unlocks. Sorry, way too many words for my little brain. Click on it 3 times and you will reset your progress. What do you actually reset? You reset your crew and chronicles. More on that later. Prince Rupert here is the guy with the balloon. I like him. You can zoom into him to get a better look. And even though the game tries to stylize the whole thing, it still looks kind of off. The mesh between real person or real photograph and this kind of drawn style, they almost fit, but there's something like small thing off. I'm criticizing on a very high level here because it looks good, but there's this little thing, this little thing. The reason you barely notice it is because the color options only give you bland colors like Sophia gray, darker gray, and even darker Sophia. But to be honest, none of that matter because our hero is truly a sight to behold. He actually does remember me of Lügenbaron von Münchhausen. Weird. We still have perks, chronicles, and the leaderboard to talk about in the menu, but I think I will try to explain as we go since the game has a weird structure. Press play and you fall from the sky. There is no tutorial here, but I think it should be pretty obvious that you control the balloon with WASD or the arrow keys or a controller. That's always almost the case. You can also shoot like a pesting maniac. You hold that left button and holy fucking cow, the prince is going to shoot a stream of those cannonballs? Yeah, let's call them cannonballs. Immediately after spawning, flying enemies will come around and shoot at you. Why? If you really want to know, let's go to Chronicles, and it will give you the answer. In the Chronicles you will find a book. Hey, almost like a fairy tale book. The book will tell you that some sultan wants to marry his daughter off. Captain Hotpants over here in his paper balloon comes around to marry the princess. The Sultan doesn't really like that and sends the army after him. Yeah, it's a pretty gruesome story, especially for the princess. She has basically no voice here. At page 5, you will see your first locked page with the mission description on it. So basically, to know more about the story, you have to finish missions. I like this kind of storytelling approach for this kind of game because normally arcade shooters, be it 2D or 2.5D, usually don't have any story in it. And story is one of the most essential parts of a video game. I have to give a big kudos to the developer here. For now, let's leave the book behind, but we'll come back later. So what do you actually do in this video game? Well, you fly around and shoot at enemies and try to reach a really high score. Yeah, it isn't much. There are some cool enemies the more points you get, and you will die really fast because this game is brutal and actually a bullet hell disguised as an arcade shooter with a code of story. Enemies will completely obliterate you. It starts with these flying enemies and these simple ships, but as soon as you shoot a few of them, a bigger ship appears and shoots a barrage of cannonballs. Oh boy, you might think, but there is no boy here. The Gallon is hardcore. Or so you might think. But think again, bucko. Here's the barrage balloon. You think this is hardcore? Think again. Here's the missile launcher submarine. You think that is hardcore? Yeah, that's pretty much it. The sub is the strongest enemy. It has homing missiles and kills you in one hit. I know, pretty anticlimactic, but not my fault. There are the enemies like the football barrage balloon and the cannonball barrage flying ship, as well as their smaller versions. They just fill the screen with cannonballs later on, so you better be prepared for some juking. The important thing to know is that at a certain point, I assume something like 3000 points, the rooster vessel will appear. Kill it and it will drop a star. Pick up the star and bring it back to the heavens. If you're having problems getting 3000 points, there are a few strategies you can use. One pretty good strategy is killing one of the ships on the water and picking up the explosive barrel. If there are too many bullets on the screen, just explode the barrel with right click and the screen is wiped. It's basically a save. Second strategy is to stay higher up in the skies and fly in one direction. It will take some time until you get the rooster vessel since getting points is really slow that way, but there's no other way. Or you could employ a mix of them too. There's a third secret strategy, and that is called Get Good, Noob! No, really, your skill will increase with time, and I will reveal a third secret strategy later on, so stay tuned for that. If you did all of that, kudos to you because only 2.2% of players actually did that, well, at least until the March of 2019. Anyways, if we go back to the Chronicles and go to the last page, we will see that by doing that we unlock the end. By destroying the rooster vessel and bringing back the star to the skies, the Sultan literally gives you his daughter, and everyone lives happily ever after. No comment here. Just gonna say, it's pretty old-fashioned, in my opinion. Like I said before, the Chronicles have missions on them, and first I thought I would go one by one, but I think you should do it yourself. If you're having problems, I linked the 100% completion guide in the description for you. Finishing a mission will reward you with crew members that give you some perks like shooting faster, better controls, and these companions will also begin to appear on the menu screen. I like this dynamic menu. It's a pretty cool idea and should be on every game, to be honest. I want to highlight one specific mission that I think is pretty funny. So here we go. Right after starting, fly to the right side until you meet a burning balloon. Fly into the water or dive into the water. Yes, you can dive with a balloon. Don't question it. Find the giant fish and swim directly in its mouth. Yes, you can do that too. Don't question it. Now you control the fish, so go back to the burning balloon and shoot at it. I said don't question it. The fish spits water and extinguishes the fires. Now you got a goat as a companion. Oh, this game. I'm telling you, it's full of this stuff. I also want to cover one specific achievement called Solstice. It requires you to cover the sun. The problem is that it's really stupid how you actually do it. Not really stupid, but it's hard to find out. Normally you would think about finding the sun and placing your balloon in front of the sun, right? Close. You have to get a barrel and explode in front of the sun. I was lucky and I did it by accident, but I want to spare you the frustration. The little thing I noticed here, and that's the genius part about it, the cloud that comes after the explosion looks like a little skull. I really love those little additions, especially if you don't notice them immediately. Last but not least, let's talk about perks. This wasn't in the original build of the game, it doesn't really make or break the game, but it allows me to do some stupid stuff with it. You have 2 perk points which you can spend on one perk, because there's actually only one useful perk, and it's called Destructible Enemy Bullets. Take it and forget about the rest. You might ask, what about triple shot or rear shooting? It drops your shooting rate, which is a bad thing. The rest is just meh. Like I said, forget about the rest. Just pick this one. Before I tell you if I recommend this game, let me flex my muscles a little and tell you about the point making strategy I developed or found out. This game has a leaderboard. And what is this? What is this? Carl Lucas at 140,634 points? Could that be me? Yes, it's me, fellow humans. How does it feel, random Russian guy, to be beaten by me, Carlos? How does it feel to be far away from the master of cheese? If you're not my random Russian friend, I will tell you my secret. Start the game and optionally try to get 2 or 3 stars into the night sky because they provide a good point multiplier. Go to the castle, drop between the towers and shoot. Just shoot until you get bored. How high can you get, my friend? Can you beat me, the master of cheese? This is basically a foolproof strategy. You can't die because no bullet will ever reach you, and you will keep making points since there will always be an enemy flying above those 2 towers. Now, would I recommend this game even though there's this huge cheese strategy? This cheese strategy doesn't actually matter, okay? It has nothing to do with the game really. I just found something out. So, would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. I kind of would. I would say buy it now, get absolutely crushed by its difficulty, maybe come back later and tell me how difficult the game was, because the game is not a straightforward buy and play. So what I would recommend is try the missions first. After that, try to finish the achievements, and without even noticing, you will find yourself having something similar to fun. You will be juking every shot, you will be shooting enemies from the sky, getting some barrels from the sea and then exploding it, trying to find cheesy strategies, typical stuff. Maybe even trying to beat me with my 140,000 points. Yeah. Sorry if I don't sound so enthusiastic. I would definitely, like I said, I would definitely recommend this game, but I don't know, it's even unique enough for me, but I just can't point out what I don't like about it. I mean, I enjoy the story mode more than the actual game, so I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe you will like it. I mean, I showed you the game. Make your own decision. Well, this is actually one of my shorter videos, but what can I say? The game is actually short at its core, and there isn't much to criticize, really. I'm nitpicking here. Again, I had the fortune to be able to interview the developer, but it was a written interview, so I posted it on the Steam community tab. The link you will find in the description if you're interested in that. So, just with that said, like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell, and take care of yourselves. Have a nice day, and we will see each other next time.